Forbidden space had many names, depending on who whispered it and how afraid they were. To the archivists of the Concorde, it was Region Black Null, a scar on star charts where surveys failed and probes vanished. To smugglers, it was the Dead Crown, a place you skirted only if desperation outweighed sense. To the elder species who remembered the first galactic wars, it was simply the line, the place where ancient treaties ended and survival instincts began. No one crossed it. No one, that is, until the solemn accord. A Concorde patrol cruiser drifted too close while chasing a pirate signal that shouldn't have existed. Commander Vethril of the Avari leaned forward on the command dais, feathers along his neck fluffing in alarm as the void ahead rippled. Not with gravity distortion, not with hyperspace wake, this was something else, space itself trembling like a struck membrane. Report, he snapped. Sensors are confused. Commander, said the navigation officer, mandibles clicking, multiple contradictory readings, energy surge without origin vector. It's as if reality is. The officer stopped as the main display bloomed white. Then black. Then something came through. It did not emerge so much as assert itself into existence. A ship, vast, angular, and utterly silent, hung in the void where nothing had been a heartbeat earlier. No hyperspace flare, no warp tunnel collapse, just a sudden, undeniable presence that made every instrument aboard the solemn accord scream. Hull readings cascaded across the display as the sensors tried to comprehend what they were seeing. The vessel was long, dagger-shaped, its surface matte dark except for thin lines of cold blue light that traced along its spine like veins. Its bow bristled with structures that could only be weapons, though none matched known Concorde designs. Along its flanks, armored plates overlapped like scales, each etched with markings that meant nothing to anyone in the room. What species? Vethril asked quietly. Silence. No known profile, the sensor chief finally said. No matching drive signature, no recognizable materials. Commander, this ship shouldn't be able to exist. Forbidden space had been quiet for centuries. Now it shook. Across the Concorde, alarms blossomed like malignant flowers. Observation stations along the edge of forbidden space registered the same impossible event, a localized distortion, a spike of energy that did not correspond to any faster-than-light technology on record, followed by the sudden appearance of an unidentified capital-class warship. Within minutes, emergency councils were convened. Within an hour, the elder archives were unsealed. And within those dust-choked halls, ancient beings stirred with dread. Archivist Thren of the Keth remembered the stories. They had been little more than warnings whispered to hatchlings, tales of a species that burned bright and fast, that broke the rules of reality because they refused to accept them. A species that had not been defeated, only contained. Impossible, muttered Counselor Jacquel as the hologram of the ship rotated above the table. The humans vanished before the Concorde was formed. Their territory collapsed. Their systems went dark. They did not vanish, Thren replied, voice thin. They withdrew. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The Forbidden Space Treaties were signed after the human wars. Thren continued. This region was designated off-limits not because it was dangerous, but because it was theirs. Counselor Jacquel scoffed. A dead species cannot lay claim. Thren's eyes did not leave the hologram. Then pray they are dead. On the bridge of the human warship HES Resolute, Captain Mara Ilias watched alien sensor pings wash over her hull like rain. Status, she said calmly. Translation complete, reported Lieutenant Chen. All systems nominal. Hull integrity at 100%. No hostile locks detected. Mara allowed herself a small nod. The transition had been rougher than planned. Forbidden space was never gentle, but the ship had held. It always did. External contacts? She asked. Multiple, Chen replied. Concorde patrol vessels at extreme range. No weapons charged. Mara leaned back in her command chair, eyes tracing the tactical display. They're cautious, she said. Good. Means they remember something, even if they don't know what. Captain, said Commander Alvarez, her first officer, the treaties were broken the moment Concorde probes crossed the line. Mara finished. They sent them in quiet, hoping we wouldn't notice. Alvarez grimaced. We noticed. Humans always do. The Resolute was not the largest ship humanity had ever built. It was not the most heavily armed, nor the fastest. It was, however, a symbol, a line drawn in void and steel. Forbidden space was not empty. It was a sanctuary. and humanity had returned to defend it. The solemn accord held position, weapons powered but unfired. Commander Vethril had ordered absolute restraint. Every instinct screamed at him to flee, yet something in the presence of the alien ship demanded stillness, like prey before a predator that had not yet decided to strike. Then the alien ship spoke. Not with sound, but with signal. A tight beam transmission punched through Concord encryption as if it wasn't there, resolving into a clear, perfectly translated message across every channel. "This is Captain Mara Ilias of the human exploration ship Resolute," the voice said, female, steady, unmistakably confident. "You have entered restricted territory." Vethril swallowed. "Open channel," he said. The hologram shifted, resolving into the image of a human, 2 eyes forward-facing, skin a warm brown, dark hair pulled back tight. She wore a uniform devoid of ornamentation, save for a single insignia over her heart. "This region is designated forbidden space by the Concord," Vethril said carefully. "No species claims sovereignty here." The human's lips curved, not in humor, but in something colder. "Incorrect," she said. "This space is under human protection. It has been since before your Concord learned to write its first charter. You cannot simply appear and—" "We didn't appear," Mara interrupted. "We returned." A pause, the kind that carried weight. "You built your borders assuming we were gone," she continued. "You sent explorers, miners, probes. You told yourselves the old warnings were myths." Her eyes hardened. They were not. Across the Concord, fear took root. Elder species began to recall half-buried records, fleets that vanished without battle, stars that went dark after human retaliation, treaties signed in desperation rather than victory. Humanity had never conquered for territory, they had conquered for deterrence. They hit hard, they hit fast, and then they left, leaving nothing but memory and the promise that crossing certain lines would be answered. Forbidden space was one of those lines. "Captain Ilias," Counselor Jaquel said over a secure channel hastily arranged between the Resolute and the Concord Council, "if there has been a misunderstanding." "There hasn't," Mara replied. "Your probes violated quarantine. Your patrols crossed the line. Today, a cruiser followed a signal into our space." Jaquel stiffened. "We did not know." "You didn't ask," Mara said. Silence followed. "What do you want?" Jaquel finally asked. Mara's answer was immediate. "Compliance," she said. "Withdraw all assets from forbidden space, permanently. Recognize human sovereignty over this region and its contents." "And if we refuse?" another counselor asked. The Resolute shifted. "Not much, just enough for Concord sensors to register weapon capacitors charging not as a threat, but as a demonstration." Reading spiked beyond known scales, then settled back to zero. Mara met their gaze through the hologram. "Then we remind the galaxy why these treaties existed in the first place." Commander Vethril watched the exchange in stunned silence. He had commanded warships for decades, faced pirates, rebels, even the remnants of ancient empires. He had never seen power displayed so casually. "Commander," whispered his tactical officer, "their ship, it's alone." Vethril nodded slowly. "Yes," he said, "and that should terrify you." The Concord deliberated for hours. Arguments flared, pride clashed with survival, younger species demanded resistance, elders counseled caution, records were cross-checked, ancient battles reanalyzed. Everywhere they looked, the pattern repeated. Humanity did not bluff. Finally, a consensus emerged, not unanimous, but sufficient. Counselor Jaquel returned to the channel, posture rigid. "The Concord will withdraw its assets," he said. "We will amend our charts and recognize this region as human-protected space." Mara inclined her head slightly. "Wise." "And the patrol cruiser?" Jaquel asked. "The solemn accord." Mara glanced at her display. Commander Vethril stood frozen on his bridge, waiting. "They will be escorted out," Mara said, unharmed. Relief rippled through the Concord delegation. "One more thing," Mara added. Jaquel stiffened. "Yes?" "Send a message to the galaxy," she said. "Tell them what you saw here today. Tell them forbidden space is forbidden for a reason." Her gaze sharpened. "Tell them humanity is watching again." The Resolute did not linger. Once the Concord ships withdrew, it powered its drives, the strange reality-bending engines humming softly beneath Mara's feet, Space rippled once more, less violently this time, as the ship prepared to depart. "Captain," Alvarez said quietly, "do you think they'll obey?" Mara smiled, just a little. "They will," she said. "Fear is a powerful teacher." The stars ahead folded, light stretching into impossible angles as the Resolute slipped back into the depths of forbidden space. Behind it, the galaxy exhaled. And somewhere in the endless void, ancient warning beacons long dormant flickered back to life. Forbidden space. Do not enter. Humans are home.